Hey guys, welcome to episode 154 of 4PlayerAnimecast. We are straight into the fall 2020 season, part of our reviews, and obviously Japan has sort of gotten back on their feet pretty quickly, going straight into I believe, 30 something episode, or excuse me, 30 something unique series, right? Hitting the low 40s with regards to, if you count sequels and children's shows and all that stuff. But yeah, it's more or less full season back again, and we are heading straight into it. There are a lot of series that we want to cover, as well as just big names that we have to cover. So I think this season, at least, all five podcasts are going to be, filled with just stuff that people are watching, or we're probably going to recommend that people watch, or again, stuff that people will be inevitably drawn to. So without further ado, I am again your host, Spire, and with me are my lovely compatriots, Near,
Hey,
Dark,
Hey.
and Toast, who is apparently dead.
Okada Marie is the reason why Rurouni Kenshin is hated nowadays.
I see.
what?
Alrighty then. So, anyways, what have you guys?
True. TBH.
What have you guys been up to? What about you, Toast? What have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
You know who directed the 2011 Shin Kyoto arc? Okada Marie.
Okay.
She's the
Yeah,
reason. She's the reason why Kenshin killed Saito, or not Saito, Shishio. Split his skull right in half. Oh my God! She did True Tears. Ugh!
oh,
Okada Marie did a lot of
I mean, Kodomo, no,
stuff to say.
G-Con, sure, some people like that, but True Tears? Uh,
yeah, we've
mean,
gone over Okada Murray's career more.
what was the last good thing that she did?
I don't know. Was the
That's
movie
right, you
from
can't
recently
name
good?
one. What?
Huh?
There was the
What,
movie she did. Did that come out?
the
I did.
Akonohana live
It came
action?
out. I did not watch it.
She did
Um,
that.
I'm honestly like genuinely too scared to watch it.
You're not alone, my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else, Toast?
The live action, like, you could tell that they just adapted the Shin Kyoto arc in the live action, but even that was way better than that travesty. What's up with that? What?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do recently? I watched some yeah, good stuff.
yeah.
All right, thanks,
I
Toast.
watched
You watched some, yes.
Winning Sun streams. He's pretty cool.
Okay.
You want me to go over who I watched in Hololive?
No, I do not.
No, that's all right.
No.
I watched them
I know,
all.
I do
The
not.
update.
Thank you, Toast.
Yeah, all of them.
Near.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what did you do these past 2 weeks?
Um, my past 2 weeks have kind of sucked ass.
Oh,
Here,
what happened?
tell us about your milk dilemma.
Tell us about the milk.
Well, first of all, Americans are fucking stupid. That's really all there is to it.
Thanks, Toast. I mean, Near.
But yeah, yeah, my past couple weeks haven't been great. I've been having some pretty bad headaches lately.
That's
Um,
unfortunate.
The milk?
Unfortunately, one of my dogs passed.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
sorry,
not great.
condolences.
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
But other than that, just I watched
Same
a
old, same
couple.
old.
Yeah, same old, same old. I watched a couple of the new series. I watched like I think it was like leaked or something, first episode of Strike Witches.
Uh,
It
oh,
was
okay.
in like dog shit garbage quality, but I still watched it. Um, I watched Rail Romanesque, which I'll be talking about later, and I saw some clips. I haven't actually watched the full episode of first episode of Higurashi. Yeah,
Is it
Yeah.
good?
it looks pretty good.
Did they steal any voice actors?
The thing is, Higurashi is one of those series where if it came out bad,
No one would care.
the blowback would be
I
the
think
blowback.
people would care.
But would they care as much as an
I'm just
Neko
curious to know. It's like
remake?
which is it? The one that is it? Do you know if it's the arc thing like that I was talking about near that I had read a while ago? Like if it's
what do you mean?
I forget what they call it, where it like has essentially like the ending. Like, isn't there one where it's like a bunch of different scenarios, and then there's like one where they, without getting like too into spoilers, they like has more of a hard like the loops and shit or whatever.
I mean that like is Higurashi, right? Like that's the
Okay.
kind of the
Because I know
crux of
there's one where
Higurashi.
it's like a bunch of different scenarios and endings too, like from the
Yeah.
loops, rather than like a finalized or like more of a.
Who is the real Nipa?
I don't know, but I don't know. I mean that I would assume they're adapting it in a similar way, like the original anime did, where they'll probably show the loops, like they're just straight up adapt them. But yeah, I don't know. It starts off, pretty typical Higurashi start, where it's like, haha, funny slice of life, you know. But
Right, but it's Higurashi, so
yeah,
it's
it's Higurashi.
Higurashi, so
So
They did a
that's
School Days remake
not quite.
in this day and age.
I don't think anybody cares about school days, like
well, no, it's.
unironically.
I think people care about school days, but it's like what's left of school days to hash out. You know what I mean? It's
Summer
like
Days? What's the one where they're on the island? Is that Summer Days?
isn't there haven't there already been like an OVA of summer days and stuff like that?
I think so.
Yeah, it's again. I think
I want to know what happens to Kotonoha after she runs away with Makoto.
it's like there's enough. It's been
People
hashed
need to
out.
know.
It's not
I need
some
to know.
magical like
The people
I
need this.
I need a what closure on what happened
closure.
with the both of them.
Do you though?
Yes.
All right.
You know what happens at the end of 08th MS team? Spoil
Yeah.
you get yeah, oh you already know the no spoiler. Yeah, happy ending. What about their happy ending?
What about it?
What about Gurren Lagann? That had a happy ending, I guess, maybe.
Not re. Yeah.
It had closure for everyone.
Um.
And I
It
still say
didn't.
Gurren Lagann is the best
It literally didn't.
the best Gynek show since Kill la Kill maybe being a close second. After that, nothing else compares. What
I
else did they do again?
I would strongly disagree. Panty and stocking.
That was after Gurren Lagann, was it? Was it or before?
Um. I think panty and stocking was after.
Same year-ish age. It's fine. It counts. But what did they do recently that
I don't
I heard
know.
I forgot it
Well,
sucked?
There's
Oh,
BMA and Gridman.
Gynek-
Darling in the Franxx. Oh
Oh.
boy.
Well, I mean, Gynax dead. If you're talking about Trigger, then like, sure.
For Mare, I haven't seen it. Not
Yeah.
yet.
Oh yeah, is that too?
But yeah, that was my 2 weeks.
Okay.
How's the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. What's
How's,
happening here?
how's the bags of milk?
And
They're alright.
I really want to know about your milk bags now.
I don't understand why like the bagged milk concept is so alien.
Why
to
do you
America.
need a secondary container for your bagged milk?
Because it's a bag. Like it can't stand
Well,
up on its own,
Yes, it
dude.
can.
Toast
Ever heard
is
of a
toast
gusset?
is toast is thinking of bagged milk like boxed wine, where it's like
I
Yeah.
mean,
you
you don't
have
need a
like the
secondary
tap in the
container for
box.
boxed wine. I get it.
Yeah, because it's in a box, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is
You
still in a
can't.
bag in a box.
Why can't? Yeah, but it's got its own secondary container. Why do you need a jug? Why can't it have a nice gusset like in military MREs? Like that one cool guy on YouTube.
Got it.
Because bagged milk isn't made to be like portable. It's just made to be like cost
Why isn't it a
efficient.
bag?
Yeah, you get one of those. You get one of those
How do you
backpacks. You
carry
can
it
like
home?
put bags of
Yeah,
like
one of the
water.
backpacks with the big straws in them,
You just can put
and it's
fucking
just
milk
full of
in it.
milk.
Uh,
That's fucking gross.
yeah, I'm going for my daily run.
That tomato feeding robot. You like tomatoes while you run? I don't.
Anyways, thank you, Nier, for telling us about your 2 weeks, and again, condolences to your family and obviously yourself for the passing of your dog.
Yeah.
And Dark, what have you been up to?
You know, I've been catching up on Fire Force season 2. So that's been fun because that show's been like season 2 has been consistently like insanely well done. Season 1 was really good, but season 2 has some like really nice shots in it, especially in the more recent episodes. But
Oh, you're
other
saying
than
Fire
that,
Force is pretty.
Fire, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been really good. Other than that, show anime wise, haven't really been watching a whole lot more. Just kind of been like I finished off most of last season. Just been looking at kind of. I just want to wait for like I think more to come out of this season now to like before I start much. So just been doing
Mhm.
that. Like I'm probably gonna wait a little bit, like for a decent bit for Higurashi, because I've never seen it, but a while ago when I had seen it like in my fucking what is it, Steam feed like a dozen times. Like I had no idea what the hell it was. So I was like,
Seen the original
okay. And I
Higurashi? Or
looked
have you
up
seen the memes of it?
no. So I've just like I a pretty decent time ago I read like a wiki and all I remember is that there were like 87 different ones and I wasn't sure which one I was remembering.
Do you guys remember back in the day when
Yeah.
there were entire like chat room fights about which is superior? That was it Ugu or Nipa?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I remember those times.
Those were chaotic times. And I was like,
Chaotic times.
like I'm
Okay.
like, I don't want to be a part of this, but it's obviously Ugu because Canon 2006 was the superior looking anime. Then some other guy was like, no, Higurashi. Higurashi is the what is it? What do you say? He's like the adults anime or something like that.
It's
It
for
was like
It was
Pokemon
dark.
adults.
It was dark,
Just like Pokeball.
gory, and realistic, not
Higurashi
whimsical.
anime sucked. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it
It
did.
wasn't that great. But
What does he
We had
was
mean
some spicy
dark,
memes.
gritty, and realistic?
like Tokyo Ghoul,
If it's
bro.
yeah,
what
Huh?
if it's what I'm thinking of, there's
yeah, dude,
fucking time
realistic.
loops
That's
and
why there's
like
that's why there's an ancient curse and
People,
evil.
yeah,
stuff,
Yeah,
dude.
there's
People
a
are
there was like I
dying
think
all
there was
over
like
the
a
place.
swamp
Bro.
gas like bit for one of them. There was like fucking I don't remember if the main one is like the thing I'm thinking of with the like parasites or whatever or disease that like enrages people like
Yeah.
Mochi
it's like yeah,
Kyrie.
or
I was
very
like, damn.
realistic. You know.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. You go back in time and you stop tragedies and
And anime was a different beast back then.
Was it though?
I don't
Yes.
know. I feel like it's pretty
Yeah,
similar now. Still pretty samey.
I don't know, man. The last time we had a old anime turn new, kind of sucked. No, what was the newest one? What was the newest remake?
Of
Cooking
what?
Master Boy. It's pretty good. Fruits Basket. I guess it's okay. I don't know.
Anyways.
What?
Uh,
Where was this
But yeah,
going again?
other than that, my 2 weeks, I've just been still playing League, you know,
okay.
because that's great, and playing playing a shitload of Genshin Impact. So
Nice.
Are you on the
let's
Chinese
all.
server?
Oh, what?
You should try
Why would I
going
be
to the
on-
Chinese server and inputting this certain person's name. See if it's still banned.
I mean, I don't know if that was banned like specifically because of her, or just not like a combination of things. Like, because
It has to, I
again,
believe it's due to the
they don't have a Chinese server specifically that I can select. It's either, I think it's either America, Europe, Asia, or get this, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and I forget where else,
I mean
which gets
Taipei.
their own servers. So like that's why I'm kind of
I think it's Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau with their own server.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
So
Yeah.
the fact that like that's there, like I'm kind of like, I don't see
That's
that as being
interesting.
like something that was intentional. Like
right.
I don't know why you would ban someone for that and then be like, yeah, but we're gonna give
Yeah,
these
it's
region
automatic.
this thing their own
Yeah.
fucking server. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you typically in these Chinese games, like when there's like banned words and stuff, it's just like a list of words that they
Yeah.
like get from the government or something. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, these words are bad.
or and then it's
Alright.
like it could just be a combination of things just auto flagging it too. Like,
Mhm.
you know, you can't
Yeah.
it seems like the censor in this game is like all over the place too, where it's like
Yeah, you'll
it'll
type out
pick
like a
up like
sentence and it'll pick up
No,
random
Chinese
letters.
games are very well programmed.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
It'll pick up like random letters in like, you know, like you'll type out like a 2-letter word and it'll censor the second letter.
yeah.
Huh?
So it's like yeah, I don't know. I think that could just be a straight up coincidence. But yeah, game's fun. Hope them gotcha rumors from China or turn out to be true because that'll be pretty godlike compared to what we have
There was
now.
a gotcha aspect. How does that work?
You roll for characters and weapons. That's how it works.
But-
Yeah, its rates are ass. It's literally 0.6, and if you do 90 rolls, you get a guaranteed 5-star.
Nice.
But the rumor was if you do 50 rolls, you get a guaranteed 5-star weapon and essentially like a pick ticket for whoever's in that banner. Which is significantly better than what we have now. So here's hoping that those were actually somehow accurate.
Cross fingers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, pretty hefty 2 weeks for you.
And why weren't you playing Craftopia? I heard that game super jank.
I do own Craftopia as well. I did actually. I think I played that in the past 2 weeks as well. But game is pretty jank. It could go places though and be pretty cool. It's got a lot of like baseline systems already in place to set it up to be really entertaining. So be on the lookout of that too if you like crafting survival games.
Okay. So that was Dark's 2 weeks. I been the last week has been pretty. It was really hectic for me. It kind of crashed a lot of my schedule because in real life I was kind of running around doing stuff, and then I'm sort of the type where it's like when I have a schedule and it's like I build up momentum and I get my schedule going pretty well. It's like I keep it up pretty well, but it's like once there are like kinks in the schedule, and it's like I have to take hours off here, and then I don't have time left to do this, and everything kind of gets pushed around. Then I'm sort of easily the type to pretty much fall apart, which is a sort of a big mental weakness of mine, but uh, that being said, a lot of my schedule kind of crushed because I had meetings randomly here, and then I had to do other stuff there, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to be sort of up and up on the recovery, but other than that, I haven't been doing much. I've been, again, watching some of the newer series that just came out. Been playing a little bit of visual novels, been, mainly doing real life stuff and kind of again trying to recover. I've been I've been a little bit slacking in terms of my exercise and stuff like that too. So trying to work on my uh, balance in terms of scheduling here. But other than that, nothing much. Again, real life stuff. But yeah. Obviously been getting angry every day at ESL people, the usual, right?
How can you
What's
say
there to
that,
be angry
Fire?
about?
Yeah, it's obviously
Ouch.
not their
Sorry.
main language. How can you get mad at them for trying?
Ouchie 3D.
Yeah, you know what? You deserve Hollow Live moments to be going away, sir.
Yeah, they just oh yeah, the whole yeah, again
Ooh.
I haven't been well, okay, so I know a lot more about older VTubers than I do about newer VTubers, but so I haven't kept up with a lot of newer news, but obviously there's been news about some certain people saying stuff about Taiwan and then Chinese people getting angry and all that bullshit, right? And obviously I've been keeping up a little bit with it and then laughing at the Chinese people, as I usually do, right? But other than that, again, nothing much. Anyways, we should probably move on to the actual anime at hand. A lot of stuff to cover. But Spire only likes English people, yes. English, US, UK speakers only, not even Canadian. Sorry, Nir. You're going to have to get out of this podcast.
Yeah, Australians out.
Yeah.
No, sir. We'll have none
No
of those.
Australians
accents.
aren't real, dude.
Except for US, UK.
Yes, Fire.
You
Who's
have-
your favorite English VTuber?
My favorite English VTuber is the one that doesn't get subbed by the English English subbers.
You mean Melody? I heard she has her own podcast
I
Wow.
bet she
that
does.
you linked
Oh,
beforehand. How do you
doesn't she
know
have
about it?
like some sort of like weird loot cast? Oh yeah, I linked the thumbnail of that, right? I didn't click on the video, but it was like it pop. Okay, people. Okay, can I just a very like small comment? So I keep, sometimes I link stuff that I don't like that I find on like YouTube, and I'm just like, hey, look at this. This is stupid or whatever. And people are like, why did you click on it? Or like, why are you looking at it? Stuff like that. It's like I don't go finding this stuff. It pops up on my feed
Yeah, people
because
kind of don't really understand how bad YouTube's recommendations get.
and especially since like although I know that Toast watches a lot more VTubers than I do, but I've trawled, I guess is the verb, right? I've trawled around in Japanese YouTube and that sort of area long enough such that right now my feed is like a third like random Korean variety show, K-pop, whatever stuff. Another third of it is like fucking politics and cooking and all the the usual YouTube English hobby stuff, right? That I get into, right?
English
And
hobbies like what?
likes cooking
Drinking
as
tea?
English.
Oh, that kind
um,
of English. Okay.
yes.
I think you mean
And-
American.
no, I meant the language. I guess American, if you want to
Wait,
say it.
are you looking up like English as in
The
the
language, the
language,
English.
not
Yeah.
not the cult? Are you confusing culture and language because those are different?
No, no, no. What I'm
You were saying English cooking, don't you mean American cooking?
cooking done by an English speaker or English speaking channel. Sorry, let me correct
Wow,
myself.
how can you? That's pretty racist. How can you just lump English
I
speakers
apologize.
into one culture? Where
That is
it's called
What does
very.
Kai
culture
Nikki.
have to do with cooking, dude?
Anyways, so that was one third, and another third is like all this Japanese stuff, right? That pops up on feed like kirinuki, which is Japanese word for highlights, stuff like that popping up, and obviously related to that is like English stuff, VTubers popping up, stuff like that. So that sort of shit pops up on my feed constantly. Even like I've literally sometimes gone to like I've had like days where I'm like don't recommend me this channel. Don't recommend me this channel. Don't recommend me this channel. I've like gone down the list and fucking blacklisted like 50 different channels. They still pop up on my feed. Like that's just how the algorithm works. So don't blame me for that.
Who's your favorite subber, Spire? You can't say yourself. That's a cop out.
I would never say myself. That would be really fucking obnoxious. But that's I have no opinion on that. But anyways,
I
moving on to the
have
anime.
several that I like.
That's very good. At least at least you can find something that you trust. But again, anyways, moving on to our series. I guess I'll go first here.
Spire, what did you watch?
I watched, well, as is the usual for this podcast, I took a bullet and I watched Warlords of Sigrdrifa. I believe that's how you say it, right? How do you say
Yeah, I
it?
think it's
Can we
supposed to
look
be
up because
Sigurdrifa.
this is an actual name, right? Like this isn't like some fucking thing that Japanese people
Yeah,
made up. How do you pronounce this? Can we look this up? Um, uh, fuck. Give me a second here.
it's. I mean, I would assume Sigurdrifa is based off the Sigdrufmal or whatever from like the Nordic like story or whatever, right? Which is
Hmm.
basically like just the story of Sigurd, I think. So I'm pretty sure you just say Sigurdrifa.
Yeah. So it's Sigurd. Oh my god. Yeah, it's Sigurd.
Sigurd,
Yeah, it's Sigurdrifa. But anyways,
Rahon
um,
Valkyrjur. What?
can
What
we,
language is this?
it's fucking Norse whatever thing,
Yeah.
right? But anyways, it's like another sort of strike witches ish variant. There are no boys because boys are
They're
gross
icky,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's icky, duh, and we don't want that in our anime, right? So everybody's a girl. It's like again, strike witches, sort of a vivid road operations, that sort of variant. Everybody's in these World War like World War One, right? World War One ish, World War Two ish, um, World War Two ish, like flying airplanes, right? With the fucking Wright brothers level of airplanes flying around, and they're shooting down monsters. And these monsters don't have any, rhyme or reason. They just kind of appear and they're threatening the world and stuff like that. And these girls have special powers and they have to get rid of them. And then you could have boyish girls. There are boyish girls in this series, right? But uh they're cute girls that have magical powers, and then when they use these magical powers, their airplanes all light up, and then the airplanes like sprout wings or shoot magical bullets or all this bullshit. And they use these powers to defeat the monsters. And then when they're not defeating monsters, they're back at their airport being girls. And that's the series, folks. I don't know.
Wasn't there
Wow.
wasn't there a similar series like a couple seasons
A
ago, maybe
lot of
last season, where there were a bunch of girls in jets? They were color coded.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know
that
what you're talking about. I
was.
know. Yes, you
Fuck,
are
I don't
correct.
remember
But
the name. That was from the guy
isn't it
who did
actually like Jet Girls or something like that? Like,
No, I forget what it was called. It had some stupid name because it's the Sympho Gear guy. So that's
isn't
some
it?
like wild ass name.
Fuck, I'm thinking of
I forgot
Kandaga Jet
already.
Girls. That's not how that works. But yeah, no, I know it's like something flight or something. I don't know. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about exactly. Yeah, they're color coded, and it's like one's called like Eagle or some bullshit, right? Well, is it
Yeah, that
like
was the American one or whatever.
yeah. But anyways, Toast is very correct. And again, there are series like this every other season. I mean, every season really. Um, One thing I did want to point out was a lot of the eye color actually kind of looked like who's the artist? Who's the light novel artist behind Oreimo? I forgot. It's like isn't it like Casa something like that?
I think you mean are you talking about the artist that drew Hollow Lives Himemori Luna?
I get
Are
yes,
you
Casa
thinking?
Fushimi Tsukasa. Fushimi Tsukasa, who I did remember the name of. So no, that's the author, right?
You're thinking of
Oh, Kanzaki
yeah, Kanzaki Hiro.
So Kanzaki is the. It kind of reminds me of his art. I'm not sure if it is his art. I haven't looked up the name yet, but yeah. On that, there's not much to say. The art is decent. It's like okay enough for post COVID, like immediately post COVID kind of series. Can't expect too much in terms of like frames and stuff like that, right? A1 stuff again. You're not gonna. It has a decent amount of money behind it. Names are all kind of there. I believe the main character, Claudia Brufor, is done by Yamamura Hibipu, who has she's a veteran, but she hasn't done as much as some of the other or she hasn't she hasn't done like a huge amount of stuff compared to some of the other people surrounding her. Like like the other people in the cast are like Mao, fucking Yui Horie, Yuichi Nakamura, stuff like that. So it's like um, she's among some bigger hitters there. But other than that, there's not too much to say. If you like, the problem is I can't. Even if you like something like Strike Witches, I'm not sure if I can recommend this because it's like it's not really. I don't know. I feel like how do I say this? With regards to like the girls going out and defeating monsters series, I feel like there has to be a really well done like everything. They have to juggle everything right? So it has to be like the whole plot has to sort of not justify, but it has to motivate why they're shooting stuff and running around and doing whatever. Like it has to make it exciting, right? So it's like the girls have these powers, but the monsters can't just be paper tigers, or they can't just be like, "Oh, I'm a monster. Just hit me with this bullet." Again, if it's like that, it's just like, okay, well, these transformation scenes or whatever. And then, of course, the girls, when they're doing like their slice of life stuff, they have to actually provide something in the slice of life scenes. And then the girls themselves actually have to have personality, and they have to uh, be able to interact with each other properly.
Truly
And
a tall order.
it's Japan, right? It takes a lot of effort. But I don't think that Warlords of Sigrdrifa is doing that very well. It's not the premise with like the monsters appearing and be like, okay, the main character just has to go to Japan, then fucking meet up with all these other girls, and then get used to it, bitch. It's Japan now, and this sort of thing is like the beginning of the story is very, very just like, okay, there are monsters, deal with it, bro. It's just girls, okay? Focus on the girls. I'm like, yes, but no. Like I get it. I get it. It's about the girls, you don't need to make the monsters empathetic necessarily. Uh or like you don't need to make me empathize with the monsters, but I should be like, okay, like the monsters are worth seeing the girls transform into stuff to defeat them. You know what I mean? So, in that sort of sense, I think Sigurdrifa is a little bit lackluster. I'm not particularly convinced by their interactions. Like the girls' interactions are just like, oh yeah, we're cute girls, haha. And it's not like they don't have the sort of character personality quirk specifically that say a standard sort of four girls in a club kind of series might have, right? They're very sort of lacking in several fronts. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but if you really are running out of Strike Witch variants, like Strike Witch spin-offs kind of to see, then I guess watch it. But,
What's the action like? Is it like all CG planes or what?
yeah, CG side blending. It's not 3. Yeah, it's actually I think they blend it pretty decently, but it's like, I mean, the frames are kind of lacking. So it's like the action scene is literally just like, all right, the monster puts up. So it's like everything else except for like the main scene, right? The main scene in which the main character has the weapon and shoots the fucking monster to bits. Everything except for that scene is like 15 frames per second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the dragon or the monster is like like towers up, and that's like 20 frames. Like the tower expands.
Ooh, you got a little bit more. It's an
And then,
improvement.
and then, and then suddenly, boom! It's like the monster senses the danger and sets up all the shields and shit like that. And that's like a decent amount of frames. 3D, 3D CG. Shields all pop up. Like some sort of the fake kind of stuff, right? And then fucking the main character is like, I have a fucking magic bullet, I'm gonna shoot it, pew, and then that's like a decent amount of frames, and then it's over. The bullet just goes through. It's like, see, again, this is sort of what I was talking about in terms of like the lackluster nature, right? It's like you gotta give me something so that when I'm seeing these girls like transform or power up from the magical bullet, I'm not just like, okay, well, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I'm talking about. So overall, I wouldn't really recommend it. But if you're really one of those types who are like, I gotta watch every fucking Strike Witch, variant on the planet, then sure, go for it. Anyways, that's it for me with regards to Warlords of Sigurdrifa, and I'm glad that I will never have to fucking ever pronounce this name ever again. Fuck this.
Yeah,
So
that's
who
what you
are
think,
the
buddy.
Sigurdrifa? Is that the girls, the Jets?
I think I don't even know what
I think
I
it's the
think
girls because they're supposed to be
Valkyrie.
like
Yeah,
Valkyries or whatever.
yeah, it's like the name.
Why isn't it called Valkyria then? But
I think the Sigurdrifa are specifically the Valkyrie that help Odin or something like that. Or I think that's how that works. But
no,
yeah,
I know they're it's related to Brynhilder. If you want me to actually
Yeah.
answer that question, it's some sort of fancy poems or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that's it for me and Warlords of Sigurdrifa. And next on the list is
It's
Nier.
me. Oh
Huh?
Nier.
no,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Nier, right?
that
Um.
was me.
Sure. I watched Rail Romanesque, otherwise
Yes.
known as Maitetsu, which is a 5-minute short.
The thing is, I watched it too, and after I watched it, can I don't want to. I kind of want to do spoilers right now, just for the effect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after I watched it, I was like, I kind of regretted not pushing for you to just do something like Strike Witches. I'm gonna be real honest.
Yeah. I could go
I
over it
feel
real
I
quick.
feel like we kind of ended up having to do it because it is my Tetsu at the end of the day. But still, it was like when I watched it, I was like, really?
Yeah. So this anime is a 5-minute short. Based off the. I say based off, but it's pretty loose.
Yeah.
Like I guess set in the same universe as the VN of the same name. Um, the VN, by the way, is kind of a big deal, pretty popular. Um, I feel like even if you haven't heard of it or played it, you've probably
Yeah, it has
seen.
quite a cult following.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've probably seen the characters, the smug lollies and shit. And usually when a big name like this gets an anime, it's like, wow, that's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but for some reason, they decided to do like a weird 5-minute short where it's just like, hey, here's some of the girls from the visual novel, and they're like doing weird slice of life stuff.
The two
Maybe.
main characters, two of the main trains don't even show up. It's
Yeah,
like,
literally, the main heroine from the visual novel are like, by the way, we're gone.
yeah, but
Which, to be fair, can kind of have some appeal because it's like if you're gonna do like a slice of life thing with like side characters, I guess you don't really want the main characters like stealing the spotlight. But at the same time, it's like they're kind of like the main characters for a reason, you know? And, having like more interactions with those characters and the main characters is also another appeal. But I don't know. Um, but yeah, my Tetsu starts off with like a really extremely fast, again, it's a 5-minute short, like setup of what the world is and how like basically like fake Japan, and the railroad company, uh, in order to prevent itself from being like wiped out by these other industries, was like, yeah, what if we made girls, but they were trained?
I mean, it was inevitable. Like, I want to say that Train Girls is one of Japan's most inevitable products.
Yeah,
Is it
It's
is
like
it because of the what is it the molester trains? What's it called again?
no.
Japan trains?
I want to.
Japan
I
Densha?
go
no,
there. No,
no,
sir, stop. But like, because Japan, like one of the things that Japan is really known for is like having those. I mean, obviously like the train systems, but like almost like a culture based around like like having that sort of train system, right? It's like they have like the different bentos, like the rest stops and stuff like that with trains, and it's like an almost like just by using the train system and going around to different places, that's almost like a journey in itself, right?
Yeah.
They're like otakus just for like trains and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a train net, like Japan is fucking heaven, right? So, but yeah. So it sets it up, basic world stuff. The train industry like created these girls based off of trains, and they kind of
Right.
like operate their own, I guess, like railways or whatever. And then there's a call to like have them all gather together, and then all the characters are together, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then it like announces that, hey, by the way, the main characters from the visual novel aren't going to be here. Come on. And then it sets up that, like, I guess what I assume the series is about.
It's
And
just
it's
gonna be
like,
episodic slice of life
um,
because it says like it's gonna
yeah,
make some
it's like
goods or something.
episodic slice of life, and we're gonna make merch, right?
Yeah, the
Um,
merch thing like pretty much sets it squarely for like 100% episodic slice.
yeah. So I would assume pretty much this entire series is just gonna be episodic, like gag skits where it's
Do
the
you ever
side
think that there's
characters
gonna be some sort of
each other.
like cameo where like they don't show the face of the main character, but they have like him kind of like I don't know in
Just
the
show
last
like
episode, like yeah,
like
like
the
for a
neck
second, like
down,
patting one of the girls,
like
like hey man, you
yeah,
did a
he's
good
like
job.
neck down, and the camera's behind him, and he's like,
It's
and the camera's all blurry, and it's like, wow, who could that?
fucking in
Just his
Pokemon.
shadow, dude.
Yeah, Pokemon special like the manga, right? It has like after when in like the yellow arc, right? When they have like red like come in, like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like a trainer like, and then the red's like they don't show his eyes or some shit like that. But it's like it's like that shit.
yeah. I
I
mean,
am the champion.
they'll probably drop something, right?
Yeah, reference. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it would be silly not to. But yeah, I would assume most of the series is just like short skits, some character interaction,
Right,
really lighthearted stuff. Which I
right.
mean, if you're a fan of My Tetsu, I feel like that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Um, Again, it's kind of a shame that this is 5 minutes short and not like some sort of actual
Yeah,
adaptation of
I
the
feel
visual
really
novel.
just like I haven't felt. I mean, it's not like, but at this point, I'm kind of like just disappointed. But in terms of like how much it kind of, I want to say deviated, right? And how much I kind of wanted just the original, I feel
Yeah.
like this was almost as bad, but not quite as bad as what Kohime Muso did, right? Because it's just like, it should be somewhat obvious what I mean, I guess most visual novel fans, right, of a visual novel if they want anime adapted, right? It should be pretty obvious what they want, right? It's like what Lord of the Rings fans want from Lord of the Rings movies, right? They want as much of the sort of series that they've read, right, stuffed into the movies as humanly possible, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with visual novels. They want sort of as much of the visual novel that they read stuffed into the series, the anime series, as humanly possible. And it's obviously the same for Koei Muso, for Magikoi, Mashiro Yudo Symphony, whatever visual novel adaptation you want to name. And they probably knew this, but they were just like, oh, well, we can't really do that, so we'll just do this shitty fucking spin off anyways. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, man, come on. Man, come on. It's my Tetsu. Give me a break here.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty disappointing. Like, if you're a My Tetsu fan and you're like, oh, My Tetsu anime, and you're like, oh yeah, PogChamp, dude.
It's
And
like
then,
Virtual Fighter esports.
yeah, and then you look into it and it's like 5 minutes short. And you're like,
Yeah. Fuck.
huh? What the fuck?
Eh.
And then you watch this and you're like, wait a minute. The main characters aren't even in this
Hatsune
show?
Miku, where are they?
Yeah, and it's like, what is going on? It's pretty disappointing. But I feel like something like this is probably a little easier to like cope with than like if this was like an attempted anime, like adaptation, and it was really fucking bad. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like, I feel like it's easier to be like, yeah, I mean, I didn't get what I want, but at least there's like, something like there's some sort of value here that like I couldn't get out of just reading the visual novel, you know? It
Mm.
as opposed to like getting the adaptation and it's just like, yeah, fuck you. This sucks. Fuck you for being a fan, you stupid idiot, you know? Um but yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, but
Yeah,
I
it's
don't think I don't think it's the worst thing in the
it
world.
was it wasn't as egregious as Kohime Muso, where it was like, hey, you know how you read a visual novel that was literally about creating the biggest goddamn Three Kingdoms harem in the known galaxy? Fuck you. It's
Yeah.
like,
Go fuck yourself, idiot. You're
you want a harem? Fuck
stupid.
off, bro.
Yeah.
Is
What
it
a bunch of-
is it worse than the what is it? Oh, Samurai Girls adaptation?
Also, no, I mean, Magic Koi adaptation was, I think, serviceable. Even like, I honestly think, I know some people might disagree, but what Lerche did with the Magic Koi adaptation, especially considering the fact that the original Magic Koi was obviously not manageable as an actual anime adaptation, right?
Yeah.
I think Lerche did a pretty fucking decent job, and um like, yes, there was the infamous thing where the what is it, the Momoya voice actor, right, was just like, I didn't want to be kind of, you know, portrayed like that, right? I didn't want to. I think they said she was too sexualized, right, in the anime, right?
Yeah.
And then she wanted to be kind of like a little more tough, comedic, kind of, regular character. So there were those sorts of problems, but in terms of like managing the main story, and how Machikoi, spoiler alert, cut off at the Takaya route, which is not the true ending of the original visual novel. I think it was manageable. It did what happened, but Kohime Muso was just a fucking. It was just
It
like,
was basically a giant middle finger.
yeah, it's like for anybody watching the series that didn't know about the visual novel, it was just like, I guess. Yeah, sure. Another Three Kingdoms series. It's not great, but sure. And for the people who do know the visual novel and watch the series, they were just like, wait, what the fuck? And the worst part, the thing that hurts me deep inside is like, um, it was the Dogakobo series, right? It was like one of the Dogakobo's first series. And
So,
I've always, Dogakobo, obviously now and forever, unless they, just fall apart for some reason, will hold a deep, place in my heart for, creating a lot of good, great series that I like. One of them obviously being Yudu Yudu, right? But fucking Kohime Muso.
Yeah.
Fucking Kohime Muso, man. Anyways, thank you, Nier, for helping to cover Rail Romanesque, and I'm sorry for having you go through this bullet as well, but at least it was a 5-minute one. Do you have any last words?
Not really. I mean, it's watchable.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Near.
Yeah.
What if it's 5 minutes? Because that's how long it takes for you to ride the train in Japan.
Wow.
Pretty sure you
I
can
think it
ride a
takes
train in
longer than
Japan a
that.
little bit longer than that.
That's what you got the Shinkansen for.
Oh yeah.
How do those? Yeah, if you're riding the is it the Shinkansen or a regular train?
What?
What?
Is it the bullet train or the regular train in the show?
It's just regular trains.
Yeah,
Well,
most of
maybe
them are
they're
just regular
promoting the
trains.
Shinkansen.
I don't.
I see what they're doing. This is a ploy by the Ministry of Japan Transport.
I'm not sure if that's
Very, very
exactly
cool.
how it works, but yes. Anyways, thank you, Nier, for helping to cover Real Romanesque, again, a spin off of My Tetsu, the famous visual novel. And moving on, of course, to Toast. What do you have for us?
Right, so You guys remember the good old days of Blockbuster
Yeah.
before it got wiped out
Killed.
of existence? Yeah. What was the worst thing about renting a video game from Blockbuster?
Having to go,
You
having
had
to
to
go to the
return it.
shitty, yeah. Also having to go to the shitty, fucking weird
No, I
places,
know what the
corners,
worst
and
part was. The worst part is you rent it, you open the case, and it's not the game.
oh yeah, that too.
And wrong, you're all wrong. The worst part about renting a game from Blockbuster and or your local video store is when you play something when you open up the game and you see there's already a save file up in there, and you're like, damn, Jeff Hildenburn or
We had
whatever.
memory cards.
Not all games had memory cards. N64 games didn't have those. So you're like, I saw Jeff Hindenburg or whatever's Harvest Moon 64 file. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, but I want to play Harvest Moon now. So I deleted his save file for my own. Then later when you return it and you're like, hey, can I rent this again immediately? They're like, no, wait till tomorrow. And you're like, damn. And you come back tomorrow, you're like, hey, I want to rent this game. And you check the file, another person deleted your save file. So it's a constant battle between
I've
either
never.
if
I
you
don't
what
ever remember.
I don't think
Block,
I
I
don't
don't
know
ever
about this
remember a
constant battle.
Blockbuster being like, "No, you can't rent this again. You have to wait." Like, I don't
I don't
remember
know.
that
Well,
ever
I
happening.
had to deal with it, and I especially did because Harvest Moon 64. You know how long it took me to marry that stupid what was her name, Anne, the farmer girl, and I had to redo it all over again in what 5 days.
I'm not. I'm
Man,
not
oh man, oh
sure. I'm
man.
not sure if it was a constant battle for me, but sure.
Well, constant battle on N64 cartridges because you didn't have memory cards and whatnot. Fire.
Anyway,
Where is it going with this?
you were going to cover the
I don't know,
series.
Oh
bro.
yeah, oh yeah. My point is, now, whenever you rent a game and you see someone else's save file and you pop it up and you're like, I don't even know why I'm starting this from from halfway through the game. That's what this episode of Kuma Miko? No. Kuma 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 Bear was about. Episode 1. It starts you off right in the middle of the bear girl being in a quest and not at the straight beginning like most isekais are, which was strange. But it's like, I guess this is kind of cool.
Now it's not a flash forward, it's just straight up that's where the series starts.
Yes. It's like,
Alright.
hey, I'm already an adventurer. And my name is this person. I'm not going to tell you about how I got isekai or anything. I'm just going to straight up, hey, there's this viper attacking this village. All right, let me handle it with my bear powers. And I'm like, if it wasn't me who already started reading this manga, they would be so lost. But it's a good thing I did, because so I know what's up. Anyway, so should I explain the first episode or should I explain the synopsis? Because the first episode doesn't give you synopsis, just straight up into the action.
Yeah, can you
Probably
give us
synopsis.
a very short synopsis here?
So you got this 15-year-old girl who invests in stocks and is super rich and has like her own money. She's all like, I don't want to go to school. I got money. So she doesn't go to school and whatnot, and she plays this VR MMO game like called something Fantasy Online. I don't remember. First VR MMO of its kind, you know. So and then she plays as her character. And then she receives this special bear suit, in-game bear suit from I guess God or GM or whatever. And then she gets transported into an isekai,
For God.
and it's like that's it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
There's no
how exciting is it?
there's no overarching plot of like, oh, you got isekai here for a reason, save the world and whatnot. It's just, hey, you want this sweet bear outfit? I'll transport you to another world if you accept it. And she's like, damn, okay. So there's no plot of I need to get back to Japan or whatever. It's just, hey, I'm here. Let's do slice of life stuff, but I'm a bear.
Wait, so
And it's
she
like,
is a bear?
No. She has a fucking okay. So Tosa's not explained this very well, but she has a costume that it's like
It's a bear. It's like a bear pajamas, like onesie thing.
you know how it's like in the Bofuri, right? The defense thing. It's like
oh,
there's
you're
this.
gonna bring this up?
No, I'm not going to make
No,
a
no, no.
full.
That's Spy. The whole thing about you brought up Bofuri, and I'm like, the reason why I'm sighing is because everyone's compared to Bofuri because it's a girl,
Yes,
like you're a
we're
girl in isekai, and I'm like,
let me please finish the comparison. All right. So you know how in Bofuri
Sec.
there's an awkward sort of trade like compromise scenario, right? It's like you can have these things, but then there's a sort of like catch that creates these interesting sort of episodic scenarios, right? It's like for instance in Bufuri, the sort of awkward catch is that she's sort of shitty in or mediocre or whatever, shitty in everything else, except for her defense because she put all her fucking points at defense and it's like she doesn't get hurt by anything, right? So she's just going through and there's these sort of awkward scenarios because it's like, oh, that thing doesn't. I'm like, whatever, this is whatever, right? And in this case, this sort of awkward catch is that the main character is like all powerful and she gets all of the stuff as long as she keeps on, she puts on and keeps on this awkward, embarrassing bear costume.
but she can't take it off. That was the whole thing. She's like,
Right.
damn, this bear costume sucks. Can I change to something else? And God's like, no,
Yeah, exactly.
super
So
strong, but you got to keep it on forever. And she's like, damn, okay.
that's sort of how the sort of awkward catch is created, and that's sort of the thing that keeps the episodic nature of it interesting. Does that make sense, Near?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
So,
so
overall thoughts?
for starting right in the center of things and skipping over some, the beginning parts of her quest, like, hey, I'm in this world. Hey, I meet this important NPC and whatnot. I'm gonna join the Adventurers Guild. I gotta do all this stuff. They skipped maybe like 12 chapters in the manga that I read. It's like, damn, okay, sure. Let's. I mean, I gotta give them props for keeping it fresh. I guess maybe. What's they're subverting my expectations of the isekai genre.
I
So
don't know. I don't know. So I guess you mean
they're turning the isekai
exceeding,
genre on its head.
exceeding what you exceeding what you
Exceeding?
thought. Yeah,
No,
exceeding probably is
not exceeding.
No, I
It's
think it's I think subverting's like pretty accurate because it's like he didn't expect them to just like, usually expect the first episode of an isekai to be like shit we saw in like Slime Tensei and stuff where, they either die or they get isekai'd and then the fucking voice of God tells them, what to do and they're like, well, what's
I mean, yeah,
happening to me?
typically an isekai will show the character getting
Yeah,
isekai.
like, it's
That's usually like standard storytelling, is that you establish what your main character is.
it's like how to get over here.
yeah,
Oh,
that's a little bit boring though, don't you think?
Yeah, we're in the postmodernism era of anime right now. We don't
What
need
if
we don't
yo?
need establishing
What if
storylines.
what if instead of what is it? Fuck. You guys know the LucasArts game Grim Fandango, right?
Yeah.
It's like a very old sort of point and click thing, and about Grim Reaper, blah blah blah, Mexican death, reincarnation, etc. 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 So, anyways, what if like there was an isekai series, but instead of focusing on the afterwards, like the isekai, it focused on like the process of how the isekai works. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah, the
this.
It's an
isekai
entire like 48 episode or 24 episode series of just like a businessman and then in the final episode he gets killed.
No, not even. It's like he works with like the goddess to like
oh, you're
deal
talking
with.
about that Truck-kun manga? I know what you're talking about.
No, not even that. It's like what if the main character is sort of like dealing with the goddess or like communicating or like friends with the goddess and kind of seeing from a bird's eye view of like various people like getting killed and then having to like be reborn and like setting up in an isekai. You know what I mean?
I
It's
know what
like
series you're talking about, and there's like 2 or 3
it's like
mangas that have that premise.
it's like
But yeah.
what is it? The fucking what is it called in Beetlejuice where they die and they have to go to like the
Oh, I
office
know what
of
you're
the
talking about. Yeah.
afterworld?
No, I know what you're talking about. Fuck, but I
Yeah,
can't
like a
remember. Yeah.
series like that where it's just like the secretary of like the isekai office.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, that'd be so. If that was no, it's a little bit. Well, there are a couple of series that are like that are reaching that sort of level of meta, but I wanted like full like almost like how do I say it uh like almost like Stanley Parable levels of like obvious in your face, like, oh, these people are getting isekai. You know what I mean? Like, I want that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry to interrupt, Toast. But did you have any other sort of things you want to point out?
So let me tell you, it's made by EMT Squared.
You didn't like EMT Square, right? No. Wait,
No,
it was. I'm thinking of. Excuse me. I'm thinking of another fucking studio, one that actually went bankrupt a couple of years ago. Excuse me.
so what have EMT Squared done? They've actually done some shows that I like, surprisingly. Love Tyrant, Red Bokun, that's up there. Assassin's Pride, that's up there. That weird ass Valkyria show that Spire hates, that's up there. The Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Ironjar, sure.
Oh yeah, that was a couple of seasons ago, right?
And then Kuma Miko, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Hell yes.
But yeah, between all those shows, I've noticed they all have a similar art style. You know, I've mentioned it before with Renai Boku and how they don't have those the line art so often, and the colors are more muted, more pastel-ish, which makes their art stand out amongst other anime studios.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another extension of that and makes it look unique. Yeah,
Okay.
it's cool. Pastels. I like the visuals of the series I like from these studio.
That's pretty
What
good.
what else? Main character has an interesting voice for a 15-year-old. You know, usually it's the usual Genki happy-go-lucky uh bubbly voice actor. It's not. It's the voice of Junko from Zombieland Saga. That's
Okay.
cool. He's got a deep, powerful voice, and I'm like, damn, this 15-year-old's stronger than me. It's like, yeah.
Who's the voice actor? Oh, Kawasamaki. Okay, I know.
I don't know who that is.
Fucking like
Shuzuna Hisone Tomaso-tan.
right. But yeah. Anyways, I guess would you recommend this overall?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Apparently there was an early showing of this. That's why I was
Yes.
able to watch episode 1 before it actually came out. So I got into the I got my secret sources, aka I saw it on YouTube. So I was like, all right, I'm in on this. But yeah, the show's pretty cool so far, I guess. Animation wise, it's okay.
Okay.
It's better. I will rate it on my isekai scale at least 8 out of 10 so far.
All right. So
Maybe it's because it's been a long time since we had a refreshing girl protagonist in an isekai. By long, I mean after the villainous arc that we only had one series entrance into it. Still waiting on the others, you know.
all right.
But yeah, the show's pretty cool.
All right.
I'm better than the blame boring Kiritos. Got a cute girl doing cute things. But is it better than Bofuri? I don't know. It has yet to be seen. I like both those series, so you know what? I'm not gonna compare. It's like saying it's like when some people say I like Niji Sanji more than Hololive. You can't compare the two. They're different companies.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
exactly how I would describe what you're trying to
exactly
say.
sure if that's
Okay,
but
so
I get what you mean.
if Bofuri
I
is
don't.
Niji Sanji, then I guess this is Votom's, okay?
all right. Anyways,
That's the one, right? Votom's?
I mean,
I
that is
actually
a.
like I don't.
That's like a 5 brain comparison, dude.
I just removed my glasses so I could put my face like in my hand palm right now. Thank you, Toast.
Yeah, this show's it's good. I'll just say it's good.
Okay, yeah.
There's no bad qualities I have about it so far. It's a lot better. It's more slice of life than other isekais. Doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
As it should. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, pretty good. Anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover Kuma 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 Bear. I know it was.
What? I'll translate it into English.
Thank you. Yes, go for it.
Bear.
Yes,
bear.
Spire. I don't speak Japanese yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm translating it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It means
Yeah,
bear,
Mr.
bear,
Translator.
bear. Surprise! It is very complex translation.
Bear, Kuma.
Mal says
Actually.
the bears bear a bear Kuma.
Yeah. Translators know the bear
Yeah.
means Kuma. Anyways, thank you, Toast.
And I wonder what they're gonna translate this into English.
Yes. Anyways, oh, that reminds me. Fucking thank you, Toast. I just wanted to make a quick note. In the sub I was watching for Warlords of Sigrdrifa, what was it? Fucking I was so it's like the main character's name is Claudia, right? And then the girl's nickname for her is Clow, which is like a common kind of thing that Japanese people do with that sort of name. Like I've heard that more than once. And then the subs were like the English subs had her nickname as Cloudy, like Claudy, and I'm just like, these girls are
Well, of
literally say
course,
cloud.
fucking
Why
dude,
would you?
that's what round eyes do. Is it a nickname? You gotta give a fucking Y at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
otherwise,
like-
how are you gonna know?
I was literally just like there's.
Look,
I
Spire,
was stunned.
what do you hear more often? Does somebody call someone named like Jeffrey Jeff, or do they call him Jeffy? You tell me, bud.
Yeah, Jeffy
Yeah,
Epstein.
Spire. How many times have you heard someone say "One-sama," but they
Oh.
really mean "sissy"?
This was like the equivalent of like somebody trying to describe Chuck E. Cheese, and then they're like, why don't it's about that Charles. It's like
That
the name is on the storefront.
Yeah, well, first of all, his name is Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Yeah.
Charles
Better
E.
watch yourself.
Stevens.
He's on Twitch.
That's true.
I can't believe Germa kissed him on that one stream.
That's true too.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for bringing up.
Pow, pow.
Anyways, for reviewing Kuma 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 Bear, and with that, we are down
It's
to
certainly better than Kuma Miko, that's for sure.
Kuma Miko.
How did you
Kuma
get
Miko.
both Kuma series, EMP squared? Damn.
Anyways, last but definitely not least, Dark. What do you have for us?
I have a show that I forgot was this season until I was like, about 45
'Cause, like,
minutes before we started. I
Trailer
was
came
like,
out pretty early,
yeah.
right? 'Cause yeah.
It came out. Yeah, it came out like a couple of days ago. I think. Yeah, it came out. I
really?
think on the 1st or something.
No. I meant the trailer. The trailer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the trailer came
I
out
mean,
pretty
for
early,
me,
and it also blew up on Twitter.
It
so.
was just more that like I just kind of like forgot about it. I didn't really care care that much, but I wasn't planning on watching this series,
Has
but
the
I
fucking
watched
armpits and the girls and then
Iwa-Kakeru. Yeah, so you say. I mean, so the cover art has, but the show
yeah,
itself,
yeah, that's true. It
not
doesn't.
so much. Not
It's just
so
top down
much.
views. Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
top
it's
down.
just it's
Oh,
literally
you
them
got
like
this series? Damn it!
yeah.
I
So
was gonna
this
cover the series.
this series,
Oh,
I don't think it really matters.
you don't need to, dude.
I don't think it really
but I
matters.
need a sports series. Now you took
Well,
my
you
only
can
sports
do.
series.
Isn't No, there's definitely another one this. I'm pretty sure that isn't there another one this series that's like even more egregious with like girls. I think there is. Regardless, this
I'm
one isn't at
sure you'd
all.
be
This one's
surprised about
like fucking. This one's like whatever, man. So it's about a girl who's a junior in high school, and she's just like a competitive like puzzle game player. Like I don't know, she's supposed to be playing like Tetris, like Puyo Puyo, shit like that.
Okay.
Like those kinds of games, and to be like really good at that. And so it's like as a junior in high school, I forget it's like why she needs to join a club. It's just one of those bullshit things where it's like, yeah, I guess I should probably join a club.
Yeah, they
Um,
never really have a reason beyond like, oh man, if I'm a loner, that'll be bad. Blah.
yeah, and then it's like she stumbles essentially into like the rock climbing like area, like club area thing, which by the way,
Casual rock climbing
what?
club. Also, can
Like
I point out
what?
something? Like, I kind of
My
wish.
high school rock climbing club, like probably one of the most niche thing. Like, who the fuck has the funding to be like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna have like 7 different rock climbing courses.
like
Anyway,
like the only time I've seen like even just like a mini sort of rock climbing thing is at my college where it's like, and that college had a fuck ton of money, but other than that I've literally never seen like an actual rock climbing place at like an academic institution.
I don't know,
That's
yeah,
Spire. Have you
it's like,
heard of
what the fuck?
Sasuke? There's a bunch of people training for that every year.
Oh my god.
But
Oh, by
yeah,
the way,
so
sorry, let me just point out something
yeah.
very, it's like a pet peeve kind of thing, but it's like I kind of wish that these series did a little bit more research, like because if you look at the rock wall, like the rock climbing walls in this series, like they're all of these like things where they have like these huge ledges and like huge like rocks like jutting out, like the size of like the girls' bodies, stuff like that. And like
Yeah,
99 times out of
some of the
100,
things there are way out of scale.
yeah,
Like,
I'm like 99 times out of 10, you realize that all of the rocks, like all of the things that jut out on the rock climbing walls, are like pretty much just like hand size or like maybe a little bit smaller or a bit bigger, right? It's like
yeah,
there are no rocks
it's
on there.
weirdly inconsistent because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
so the
these
way the
guys looking at
show
rocks when those women on screen. Yikes.
so the way the show shows it is like they show the whole wall and everything's roughly like around the same size anyway. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's like the different colors are like the different like difficulty like courses essentially. And so one of the so the club leader is like, yeah, well, like you think you're so fucking good at this and this shit's so fun. How about you fucking just do yellow then, asshole? And so she tries to do yellow, but like when it zooms in, then it's like the yellow is like super tiny and it's like she can't get her footing right. And the only thing to like grab above that is like a super smooth yellow rock. But like zoomed out, it looks like I don't even. It looks like a fucking like cell diagram from a science textbook. You have like a bunch of bullshit like just jutting out of a white wall.
Yeah, it's like they just like there's like the small rocks, which obviously that's like standard, and then there are like these rocks that are like the ledges that are like the size of like the girl's body. I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's
they're
not.
like, and she goes, and she's like, yeah, not so like fucking fun. Like this isn't a children's playground, and I'm like, well, it certainly looks like one. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Like I'm thinking like half of these things are gonna start like spraying water and shit. Like what? There was one, yeah, there was one that stood out to me. That was like this green one that was almost like a series of cubes jutting out from like connected almost. And I'm like, what the fuck is this even supposed to be? Like, first of all, you could get your footing in 7 different places on this thing alone.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know what's supposed to be going on here. But the series itself, like the series is not I don't know, like it's kind of like it wasn't that entertaining because it's not enough sort of like girls interacting shit, at least for episode 1. And it's very weirdly set up with the puzzle stuff because it's like, you know, she gets challenged by the captain and then she's like fucking big brain, like 5,000 IQ mode activates and she gets her laser vision on the fucking rock wall, and then that turns into gamer vision. So she sees the fucking
Boy.
Puyo Puyos connecting to be like, oh, that's the path I need to take to get up.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make a fucking lick of sense.
What,
Like,
Neo? You don't have a
it's-
gamer mode?
It's so
Yeah,
well,
I
it's
don't like look
loosely
down the street and see the Tetris blocks falling into place to where I should put my feet.
yeah, it's very
Nier
like
can't spatially visualize the T-spins, bro. He's a
yeah,
noob.
it's probably like one of the most um not vague, like like loosely translated like
Kind of lazy.
abilities to carry over. To be like, I'm really good at puzzle games, so I can fucking see the exact path I need to take to get up this rock wall. It's like,
It kind of reminds me of the fucking I mean, even this wasn't like that far off. Like again, Stella Jogaku in Cubu, right? The survival game thing, where she was like, "Fucking, I'm channeling the spirit of the archer ancestor or whatever the fuck, right?" And then using that to fire her bullets more accurately. Wasn't that the series, right? If it and
Oh,
did anybody
yeah.
else see that
We
series?
all saw that series, Fire, or we
The
all
one with
talked about
the
it.
one with the blue-haired girl and the red-haired girl, right? And they were both in the survival game club. And then like the blue-haired girl was just like, "Man, I'm focusing on harnessing the channel. I'm harnessing the spirit of my archer ancestor to fire my bullets more accurately." I'm just like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It's like it's kind of like that.
yeah, it's like, okay, I can kind of see as like what your idea was here, but it doesn't really, it's not really that fitting.
Every part has a solution, Dark.
Yeah, I guess.
It-
But so yeah, so there's really no like etchy scenes in it. There's like, well, I mean, there just isn't.
yeah,
But
there is.
there's like also it's like the rock climbing trivia is like I guess it's like I'm
It's
not into here's the problem, right?
yeah.
The people behind this series are probably like really into rock climbing,
Mhm.
but I'm not. So like someone who's into rock climbing might like this series. I'm not really sure, but it's like
Mhm.
someone who's not, it's just fucking ridiculous. Like
Right.
like the main character tries to like she's like, "Oh shit, I can't reach this next one above me." And then she's just like thinking and it's like she just tries to lunge for it. But then it's like the captain or one of the girls, the serious girl from the club is like, "Did you just try a lunge? Like, no beginner could ever do that." And I'm like, "Yo, it's just jumping from the 2 fucking rocks
Yeah,
that you're
no,
standing
it's
on to the
not
next
like
one, bro. It's
not a
not
fan.
that crazy."
Yeah, it's not like a beginner swimmer like suddenly doing the butterfly. It's like, come on, man. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's also like later on when they're climbing, like they do the contest, like she's on the main character, she's at like the edge of the wall essentially, and she's like, the next thing above me, like I wouldn't even be able to lunge to get it so far.
Right.
And what she does is she I forget what they call it, but she grabs the side of the rock wall and uses like the corner of the rock wall to climb.
Cheating?
Fuck?
You can't
No,
do that.
that's what I'm saying. They called it a technique, and I'm like, isn't this not
That- yeah, you
what?
can't do.
How?
Yeah.
Wait. I was like, can you? You definitely can't do that, right?
because the idea is of the rock climbing is to simulate actual like climbing. You can't do that in like a real fucking ascent.
Yeah, she's like at the edge of the wall and she like fucking
You
uses
can't
the
do
like corner to like have her hands, because it's like, I mean, maybe it's different because she still had her feet planted, right? On the rocks. Like she was still using her feet on the rocks, but she had to use, but they were
You
so,
shouldn't be able to do that though.
yeah.
That
So it's
it
like she had
shouldn't
to
be a thing
brace
that you can
herself on
do.
the edge of the wall. And I'm like, well, what's the difference between that and if you just like braced yourself on the front of the, it's like, I don't understand. I don't think you can do that. It's like, this isn't even
You're
rock
just
climbing
outsider.
anymore. You're just
You don't know
climbing
all
a
the
fucking
techniques.
wall. Like, so yeah, like that was weird. I'll have to look that up and try and confirm if that's like a real thing you can do. If there's like some weird rule where it's like, oh yeah, it like if you have your feet still like planted on like rocks, you can use like the corner or the edge to like essentially brace yourself or whatever and grip yourself. But
The
I
thing is,
saw that and I was like, that just looks like cheating. Like,
it's kind of like how do I say this? I feel like Iwa-Kakeru is in a very dangerous place where it almost feels like the research has not been done enough. You know what I mean? For a trivia series.
I mean, if these are like obscure rules and shit, I think
Yeah,
it
that's
could
what,
be. I
yeah.
think like it could
If
be
it's
there, the
wrong,
research.
then
If it's
yeah,
wrong, then no, obviously not. If it's
yeah,
correct
'cause-
and like just a more obscure rule,
yeah.
then it's like, okay, the research is there, but I think the issue with this series is that it's like the research is there, but that's not appealing to anyone who's not already into rock climbing.
The
Because
thing
like
is,
this that technique, it's like that just looks like fucking cheating to me because I'm not into rock climbing.
I mean, also the thing is like even this discussion like wouldn't matter if like the girls had again just like how I was talking about in Warlords of Sigrdrifa, right? It's like if the girls had the proper interactions, if maybe their sort of general subplot of like the girls getting better at rock climbing and I guess learning life lessons and I guess going to tournaments or whatever, right? Competitions, like that sort of thing was all laid out properly, then it would be one thing, right? Just like how, again, for instance, something like K-On! Or whatever, some other girls in a club kind of thing, even if a lot of what they're doing might be bullshit in terms of their actual thing, right? Like music or whatever, you can kind of forgive it because you're more interested in what the girls are doing, right?
Yeah,
But
and
Iwakase,
what their process is, and like also
yeah,
what like
life lessons,
where
etc.
that's gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. But in Iwa-Kakeru, I already do not care about the girls, right? It's like the
Yeah,
girls are
that's the
like,
problem. It's like the girls are just very like in the first, like, granted, yeah, we only really saw like two of them. Like the other two really just weren't
yeah,
there for most of
but
it.
it's pretty. You can
But
smell what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah,
It's
this
like,
series
"This
is
is
very much
stupid."
gonna be cut and dry. Like, oh yeah, yeah, here's your trivia. Now go
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
yourself. And it's like,
yeah,
well,
exactly.
dude, like that's not gonna be. That's not
Yeah,
enough.
we
Like
didn't
that
start
is
watching
not.
anime yesterday, so it's
Yeah, like
not. Yeah,
that shit ain't nearly enough. Like to be interesting to just watch them do that all fucking day.
right, right, right.
So,
I don't
um,
know, man. They got some nice muscles. People like that.
yeah, it's less. It seems honestly they seem less defined in the show itself, which is like strange. But I don't know. They might.
Well, I think part of it was. I mean, well, I
The
guess
main
that's
character was like the only one. The main character and the like serious girl were the only ones in the attire. So I guess there's that. But also, it's like
also
even the
like the
serious girl didn't look
the
that
the
jacked.
regular like the thing is so when I saw Io Hakuto because before seeing before knowing anything about Io Hakuto, I had watched this like one YouTube video about like a young Japanese rock climber, Shiraishi Ashima, who's actually like American, I believe, Japanese American. But she's like a super young and famous rock climber or whatever. She like broke records, blah blah. And she actually, if you look at her video, she's not lanky. She has like meat on her bones, but she's not like her muscle. She's not her muscle is her muscles aren't like defined per se, right? She just seems very like sort of like kind of hardy in a sense, right? Like a kind of camper kind of. So it might be kind of inspired by that, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that
Um,
might be, yeah, it might be because they do actually bring that up in the show too, where they're like, one of them was like, man, I'm surprised with like just her complete lack of muscles. Like, there's no way. Like, look at her lack of upper body. And one of the
right,
other girls was like, well, you don't actually need that much strength to do this. It's just like, you
right,
kind
right,
of
right,
just need to know how to get your footing and like keep it and where you're going and just like how
right,
to maneuver more so than anything.
right,
And it's
right,
like, I
right.
thought that was fine, but then again, it's also like, well, also don't downplay that. Like, you still do need upper body strength. You're not gonna be able to
Yeah,
fucking pull
yeah,
yourself
actually
up.
needs- right, yeah. Any other any last words about Iwa-Kakeru?
Um, I mean, I don't know, man. This does not seem like one. If for some reason you're like, yeah, I can go for some rock climbing trivia, like then check it out. But it's like, if like that's not what you're looking for, like if you're looking for more of like a general like trivia, like girls doing shit in a club and then like some trivia type stuff, like this ain't it. Like these girls don't seem like they're gonna be very like entertaining in this show. So
Right, exactly.
pretty unfortunate. I wasn't necessarily looking forward to this series, but it's kind of a shame that like something of this content wouldn't receive like more of a solid entry, but oh well.
Yeah. Okay, so with that,
So what this sounds like is this is the Keijo of sports climbing, and you totally robbed me of a good
I mean,
series.
no, it's not the Keijo
no,
of
no, not
the.
even
No,
close. It
because
is.
I don't.
Like Keijo was bullshit,
Keijo at least.
and it
It's
had
not
like
even
the edgy
like.
stuff, and it was just fucking ridiculous. Like this is just boring.
Yeah, it's actually just boring. Like I'm not.
Like this is just
uh,
like unless you're super into rock climbing, like you're not getting anything out of this. Like
I
I
don't
said,
know.
like they
I'm
bring up a fucking special technique that I'm like that just looks like you're cheating.
Yeah, it's actually just boring. It's not even like it's not even us like complaining about oh blah 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 like whatever. It's just boring.
Yeah, it's just
I
there's
don't
not
know.
like nothing really happens. Like there's not much going on. The characters aren't really like
Yeah.
interesting from the get-go. So it's like, all right, well,
So you're telling me none of you have a gamer mode that you use when you're playing rhythm games?
no, my gamer mode is I like stop paying attention entirely and just like do shit and it works out.
My gamer mode does not activate when I'm swimming.
Like
No.
my
Maybe you
gamer
should
mode is
play more.
basically a fucking 1,000-yard
My gamer
stare.
mode does not activate during local soccer matches. No.
Maybe you guys should play more. What is it? What's the new one? Muse Dash, I guess. Yeah, Muse Dash.
God, fucking.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Dark, for helping to cover Iwa-Kakeru. Again, probably one of those series that we probably did need to cover.
I
But
needed to cover it.
Dude, you
Alright.
hey man, tell you what, for next episode, you watch whatever comes out, the 3 episodes, and then you check back in the weeks and you
Hell
tell
yeah,
us what you
maybe I
thought.
will.
You tell us what
Anyway.
you thought, because I guess I'm thinking that you're gonna be like, it's pretty boring.
Anyways, moving on to the news then. A lot of sort of company related news again, sort of companies shuffling around and the global pandemics, stuff like that. There's not been that many like big random pieces of news because again, global issues, right? So a lot of this is just going to be stats. First, Japanese financial marketing website Nikkei Trend reported on Thursday that the Idolmaster franchise has totaled an estimated 60 billion yen, which is about 570 million US dollars in revenue as of the end of the 2019 fiscal year. Holy fucking shit. I guess 2019 was also the how many years? 15 years, right? 15 years. And they were just like fucking like shitting out, new merch events, blah blah blah, like none other, right? So obviously they raked it all in. Yeah, so they were pulling it all in, and then so 2019 was a pretty good year for them. Next piece of news. This one's pretty funny. The Mainichi Shimbun newspaper reported on Friday that Kyoto, Hyogo, and Akita prefectural police forces have arrested 8 residents from 6 prefectures on suspicion of selling bootleg Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba merchandise and infringing the Copyright Act. Kyoto Prefectural Police arrested 5 suspects. According to the police, the suspects were accused of selling 4 to 12 model figures each via online auction between February and June with the knowledge that the merchandise was duplicated without permission from Aniplex Incorporated. 3 of the accused told the police that they obtained the merchandise from the Chinese e-commerce group Alibaba Group Holding Limited, obviously. Alibaba, classic. One of the accused denied the allegations, claiming they did not know that the figures were not licensed merchandise. Oh, really? The 5 arrested individuals allegedly sold 44 total figures for a combined US $550. What? 44? That's $11. That's like, what is it? That's like, yeah, that's like approximately $11.
You're not selling these figures for like fucking pocket change. And you're like, bro, I didn't know.
I didn't know this
Come on, bro.
Aniplex fucking merch was fucking that
But the thing is, like,
that I
getting
marked
arrested,
down 1,000%.
yeah, the thing is, it's like if you're gonna risk arrest, at least sell that shit for like more than $11.
Yeah, sell that shit for near
unbelievable,
full
dude.
price, like at least like
Yeah.
75%, and then you can argue like, oh, I didn't know. You're not out here selling figures that would normally go for almost fucking $200 for
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
$10.
Shaking my head. Anyways, don't do that, kids. Next piece of news. This is actually very big. Media company Kadokawa announced on Monday that it will reorganize its corporate structure on Thursday, October 1st. It is replacing its previous 6 departments with 13 different groups. I don't know what that means, each of which will have a quote-unquote chief officer executive bearing the title of their respective group. This new corporate structure will also eliminate the previous executive positions of department manager, deputy department manager, executive vice president, executive managing director, and managing director previously associated with the company's 6-department system. These executives are now being assigned new titles within the new structure. Kadokawa noted that the restructuring will allow the company to achieve a more flat and horizontal corporate structure. So they're just making more departments, I guess, but it's like weird. The 13 groups are publishing group, literature and movie group, anime group, gaming group, digital group, experience group, global marketing group, rights group, marketing group, manufacturing and logistics group, human resource group, financial group, and internal control group. So it pretty much sounds like the same, but they're kind of like divvying up a little bit more of their like anime and literature movie group. Although I guess the thing is, it's like it's Kadokawa, right? So it's like a lot of this will have pretty big overlaps anyways. So I don't know why they're trying to split up so much, but whatever floats their boat. Anyways, moving on. Hopefully, Kadokawa's restructuring works out. It seems like they might be maybe expanding soon, to be quite honest, because if they're restructuring more horizontal like that, yeah. Which is pretty, again, interesting in this global situation. Next, this one is kind of depressing. But Anime Fund, a new company based in Chiba Prefecture for crowdfunding anime productions, officially revealed its company details on its website on Wednesday. The company aims to provide a new way for anime fans to support anime productions and also aims to become a promotional platform for anime productions. The service will launch on November the 3rd. For crowdfunding, the site will support promotional material, videos, and messaging alerts for active crowdfunding projects. So, again,
how does that even support the anime industry? If you want to support the anime industry, you buy the DVDs.
Yeah,
you want to support the anime industry, you buy the Crunchyroll.
Yeah, But the thing is, actually, can I go on to the next piece? Let me go on to the next piece of news because I do want to kind of group it all in. Okay. So the next piece of news is Cool Japan Fund, the public-private company that the Japanese government employs to fund projects as part of its quote-unquote Cool Japan program, announced on September 30th that it and Sentai Filmworks CEO John Ledford are making additional funds available to Sentai Holdings, LLC, the parent company of Sentai Filmworks, High Dive, and Anime Network. The Japanese version of the announcement stated that Cool Japan Fund is making $3.6 million available to Sentai Holdings, blah, blah. So the people were like, oh, Sentai Holdings became stronger, so they're putting more money into it and stuff like that. So obviously, Cool Japan has also been previously accused of kind of putting money into random shit and
being useless.
Being useless.
Fucking waste of money.
But they're fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, Cool Japan.
Cool
But
Japan.
the reason why I want to point this out beforehand was this sort of like, again, all of us on this podcast have kind of seen this in the I want to say the last 5+ years, right? We've been talking about this 5+ years, right? By
Yeah.
now. And the response of Japan to this incoming bubble, right? This income. When I say bubble, I mean, studios being bankrupt, studios not being sustainable in terms of, producing anime at a good enough quality and at a fast enough rate per season, blah blah, all that, right? And the way that, and it's obviously been hastened by the global pandemic. The way that studios are dealing with this are, some of them are obviously instinctive, right? Like digitalization, changing, innovating technologies, trying to make better 3D CG stuff, so it's easier to pump more stuff out, blah blah, right? That's like more natural. But I feel like a very, 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 very bad habit that Japan has been relying on is essentially anime subsidies, right? Throwing money at the problem, right? Throwing money at artists, trying to get more artists, like, more labor in the market, and trying to throw money at, studios to get them to do more anime stuff, I guess. Having these Kickstarter stuff, so the anime fans can throw more money at the studios. And I just don't think, like, or directly, right? Just because they want the anime studios to thrive. And I think this is a terribly, not just a terribly inefficient model, but it's a terribly unsustainable model. And I've been saying this again for years on end, and Near and Dark and Tosa, we've all been saying this for years on end. But it's just like, it's so tiring to watch this, honestly, because it's like, the problem, the biggest problem has always been this bottleneck, right? It's the fact that there are, say, let's say, as hyperbole, 50 million manga in Japan, right? And out of those, the English speaking community, right, views, 1 million of them, right? And it's like, or not even 1 million, right? Out of 50 million, if it was like 50 million, it would be like, 50,000 or like 500,000, right? And that's always been the problem, right? This bottleneck between the amount of shit that's coming out, the supply, right? And the demand probably exists, right? The demand could probably increase if it reached, the world properly, right? But it just simply hasn't, because Japan is just bottlenecking everything and not putting enough money into localization, not putting enough money into properly spreading the shit, no, all this stuff, right? So it just baffles me that all this time they're always doing subsidies. They're always throwing money at the problem. They're like, oh, we just want to pay our artists more. When they should be correcting the market. They should be fixing this whole idea of, we want more people to buy our shit. Okay, then market it to more people. Like, localize it so it spreads to more people, market it so that spreads to more people, and stop having, fucking 25 series on the front page of Shonen Jump that's in, barely tolerable English, right? It's like, fuck, man. And it's like really just depressing to see this stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's just
I think they should pay their employees.
I mean, yeah. The thing is,
Yeah,
what I'm talking about is like the money flow, right? It shouldn't just be like, because again, it's like the money flow is good in terms of like first of all, they should absolutely pay their employees, right? The artists more, and it should be like a better model. But the model that they're trying to like force, where they're like, yeah, we're just gonna give studios like, millions of dollars for stuff, I guess. It's like,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
not a
like
sustainable model.
the money flow isn't relevant when like where that money goes,
Yeah, that's all.
it
Like
doesn't
just
go
publishing
back.
stuff.
It
Yeah,
doesn't go back into
yeah,
the industry, right?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
the money, like the Cool Japan Fund, which is fucking useless, by the way. Like all that money just goes to like execs and like licensing,
Licensing,
publishing,
vanity
and just
projects.
like
Yeah,
yeah, just TV shit, and it's like we still have animators that are being paid in fucking cup noodles.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how is this an industry that has gone on this long
Yeah.
without like animators just fucking revolting? Like
Yeah, exactly.
it is astonishing.
It's like
Um,
everybody's kind of just accepted it as the norm. Like you just eat shit and die. It's like
yeah, like it's crazy to me to be like, yeah, animators are like just that passionate. Like they just love doing what they do that much that they're willing to get completely fucked over by like the way the industry has been set up. Like
yeah,
they just accept it.
yeah,
But like they have all this money going into it, like all this government money going
yeah,
into this industry, and it's just worthless
yeah,
because like the way the infrastructure is set up is so fucked to that like even if the anime industry expanded globally to the point where like the ease of access was like
Almost
crazy, right?
instantaneous. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Well, let's just assume that. Yeah.
like even if that somehow miraculously happened,
Hmm.
like the person creating the content is still getting fucked,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think a large part. I mean, like accessibility is certainly an issue that needs to be addressed, but I really think like animators just straight up not getting paid is like the more pressing matter in the industry
Yeah.
because
There's
uh,
just that sort of restructuring just does need to happen for sure.
yeah, because I think like anime
Hmm.
is gonna fucking explode if animators like if more
It's
generations of
gonna implode.
animators
There's gonna be
is
a
just like,
yeah,
It's just
wait
gonna
a
be
minute,
more and more
this is
brain
fucking
drain.
awful, right?
Yeah, like
Like
it's just gonna go to
or
different
like
industries.
or
eventually
like
people are just gonna stop, you know?
yeah, or just like it's gonna be I think this weird situation where like um I think there are two ways that it could happen. And again, I'm not some sort of like economic like genius or whatever, but for me, from reading, years and years and years worth of like this sort of anime industry news, what I think could happen is like one of two things. One is like just like an implosion, right? Over a couple of months, right? Over a couple of months period, say a bunch of studios just start declaring bankruptcy instead of just one or two every couple of months, right? Just like boom, 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 boom. They all start dropping like flies, and then shit happens. The government has to step in, like fucking everything just changes. That could be one thing. Yeah, all anime will be CG soon, anyways. Don't worry, that's true. In like by next year, like everything's just gonna be like fucking Akanohana. Yeah, shitty for rotoscoping, Akanohana rotoscoping. Um, but I think the other scenario that I kind of see nowadays is sort of what Dark is speaking about with brain drain, but it's like it'll be like I think a lot of artists will start doing these weird like semi-community, semi-individual, like kind of half living on Twitter and YouTube and their own platforms and kind of making money here and there and kind of doing freelance-ish things like based around these loose community platforms on Twitch, on Nico Nico, on YouTube, wherever, right? And then that'll slowly gain popularity and traction, right? Obviously, as it is doing now. And then I think the anime studios will start have to like play this weird like start like doing this like weird fighting like competition with like the natural sort of streaming platforms, right? And it will be this like really confusing fucking thing where it's like they're kind of in putting their foot into the YouTube community and Twitch community a little bit more, and then they're also kind of doing the TV shit on the side, and then the artists are kind of like fuck you, where I'm getting paid on YouTube anyways. And I think this like weird fucking like struggle will go on, and in the meanwhile it'll still kind of be like fucked for the companies and for the artists there because the companies still don't want to pay their fucking artists, and it'll just be a huge mess either way. And I just again, it's so depressing because it's like again, I'm betting that the illustrators they're probably still not like the entry level illustrators are probably getting below like 15K per year, right? These days. Um, I'm going to bed because so again, just very sad, very sad. But yeah, that was the news for non-people news for these past 2 weeks. And moving on to a couple of people news here. Actor Saito Yosuke passed away on Saturday, September 19th due to pharyngeal cancer at the age of 69. His health had taken a turn for the worse after dinner on September 19th, so he was taken to a hospital where he passed away. Please wish him, please wish his friends and family condolences. He did, share. He acted in the NHK series Otoko Tachi no Tabiji and stuff like Ningen Shikaku and Ryomaden and Kuri Musashi and stuff like that. In anime, he voiced the crow Toto in Studio Ghibli's Cat Returns, and he also played Chief Uramura in the live-action film Rurouni Kenshin Part 1 Origins. Next piece of news. More awards for this famous artist, obviously. The Harvey Awards, which honors outstanding work in comics and sequential art, announced on Monday that the awards will induct quote-unquote God of Manga, Osamu Tezuka, into its Hall of Fame alongside American illustrator Jill Thompson and the 4 founders of the African-American comics collective Milestone Media. I do want to say, obviously I don't need to list, what Tezuka did. Astro Boy, Tororo, Jungle and Burley, a bunch of stuff, right? I do want to say, just a comment, Tezuka Osamu is a legend. I don't think anybody would ever debate that. But I feel like so you know how right now the Western world, the non-Japanese world, or the English world is kind of going through this phase where they're like, wow, we're recognizing manga in our awards, right? Stuff like that, right? Like the New York Times or the Harvey Awards or whatever. They're like,
hey,
manga.
Japan is kind of cool too.
Japan actually drew stuff. What the fuck is this? And they're including people, right? And this kind of reminds me of this one old Daily Show skit with Jon Stewart, where it was he was talking about Sean Hannity clip where it's they're accusing certain people of certain famous people of starting race wars or whatever. It's this race war was started by President Obama, Reverend Al Sharpton, blah blah blah. And Jon Stewart was like, all right, be honest with me, friend. Are those the people that actually started the race wars, or are those the only 3 black people that you can name? And I feel this Osamu Tezuka thing is they're not
they're not really looking.
They're not really looking. They're just it's be honest with me. Is Osamu Tezuka really you were oh wow, this guy really contributed. He did all of this, and compared to even Western manga people, the contributions he made for Japan, it's all like this. Or is Osamu Tezuka the only Japanese manga guy that you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's sort of the feeling I'm getting right now with all these awards piling into Osamu Tezuka and Miyazaki, stuff like that. Again, they are giant. Nobody would debate that they're they deserve everything, but I feel all these people are just
where going to guys awards, right?
Yeah.
But
Anyways, congratulations again, obviously, to Osamu Tezuka or Tezuka Osamu. Next and final piece of personal news. Voice actor Tomita Kosei passed away due to a stroke on Sunday at the age of 84. Tomita was a Tokyo native who began his career as a stage actor with the Gekidan Toge theatrical troupe. His more than 50-year career in the anime industry began with a role in the original 1963 Astro Boy series. And he reprised the role of Hige Oyaji in various anime from Osamu Tezuka Osamu. He also voiced the title character in the original 1973 Doraemon television anime series. Wow. Tomita's other anime roles included Bakubon's Papa in Heisei Tensei Bakubon, Dr. Helen Nuke in Mazinger Z, Inspector Otsuka in Shin Tetsujin 28, Dr. Saotome in Getter Robo, Alexander Bukog in The Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Bulu's Goto in Armored Trooper Photoms, and Emperor Daibazal and the narrator in Voltron. So obviously very, very prolific old school voice actor and actor. So again, please wish condolences to his friends and family. And with that, we're on to the shoutouts and callouts. So again, first time in a long time that we've had these shoutouts and callouts, right? So everybody here gets one shout out and one call out each. Shout out is one thing that you want to give 5 out of 5 stars to. Praise, compliment, whatever. Speak kindly of. And it can be any person, place, or thing. And of course, the call out is the exact opposite. Something that you want to rage about, something that you want to stomp beneath your feet, watch their children flee before you. And it can be any person, place, or thing. And of course, we will be starting with Dark.
Oh boy. I am going to shout out. I'm going to shout out Genshin Impact. You know,
Okay.
it's a fun game. It's a pretty game. It's a cool game. It's got great environments and stuff. And it's kept me pretty entertained. So
Yeah,
I'm
you're
having
just a
fun.
Chinese shill.
That's true, dude. I am. I love China so much. It's my favorite. But yeah, I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun in it. I hope the 1.1 rumors are true, because I really want them to be. Or I don't want I don't want to suffer from this fucking gotcha anymore.
The fucking 0.6% gotcha.
0.6% gotcha, dude. If those
Welcome
changes,
to the
if
real
those
world,
rumors
dude.
are real, bro, fuck, dude, that shit'll be crazy.
Welcome
Like,
to the
I'll be
life of
so
an
happy.
FGO player.
But yeah, so like, hopefully that shit's real, because that'll be awesome, and I think that'll also make the game a lot more reasonable and accessible, like, to people, because I mean, if those rumors like if that winds up happening, I think the big thing that happened was A, they saw that no one's rolling the weapon banner, and B, that like, yeah, this game is picking up a lot of traction in the West. Like, there was a Wired article that was like, yeah, Genshin Impact is way too good to be being called like a Breath of the Wild clone. So it's just like when you start
I
getting
think
like,
Kotaku had an article like that as well.
yeah, it's just like when you get, but it's like, especially, yeah, 10 million downloads after one day. Like, yeah, like people, like this shit's like grown. And like if you wind up making it so that you can do, 50 rolls and just get a character you want, you're going to see a lot of people just fucking blow money on it anyway. Like, because it'll be like, oh, okay, I have like 20 rolls. Like, I'll drop like $30 to get like the rest of the rolls I need or something. Or like, I'll drop like, because I think, yeah, with the double bonus, it's like you get that amount of rolls essentially. Like, it's $1 a roll. And then I think with after the double bonus, it's still like 75% or something, like ratio essentially, because you still do get a bonus. So I think they'd see a lot more sales from that. So we'll see. It'd work out a lot better for me. So
Can I kind of like contribute to this is the comment on the gotcha rate, right? Somebody fucking in another Discord was just like, uh the common gotcha rate in Japan is like 3%, and it's like FGO, which is like the most popular gotcha ever, it has a rate of 1%. I'm like, that doesn't justify having shitty
it
rates.
doesn't mean
Okay,
the rate's that good, dude.
nobody
That
plays
just means
FGO.
that's
They're like,
because people are
I
like,
played FGO because
They
I
play
Man, I
love.
play FGO. I
and they're like,
love
yes,
the
I
rates.
love rolling. I love rolling so much. It's such a good time.
Getting 5-star craft assistants. God, thank you.
Dude, like the rates in Grand Blue go up to 6% during the bonus, and it's like
And they
I
still
just
suck.
save. It still sucks dick. Like I just saved for fucking Sparks anyway for like 8 months at a time.
Yeah, exactly. 8 to 11 months. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like okay, but not having to do that with a game, with this game would be very nice. So, you know, we'll see though. I
Well,
guess in a
sucks to
few
be you
weeks.
guys because Azure Lane's SSR gold drop rate is 7%.
Lucky
Yeah, but
you, a
Azure
whole
Lane's full
extra
of
percent.
lollies.
As Azure Lane's main money comes from skins, $10 skins, and you know you want them.
I'm pretty
I want.
sure what's it called? The rates are pretty high too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember exactly what they are, but Arknights has like pretty
Well,
decent rates.
well, that's because they're from the same company.
Yeah.
What you call it?
Yeah. I would recommend checking it out if you just want like a pretty chill open world game to play through and just collect. Like collecting stuff in this game is a lot of fun, honestly. Just going
Make
around.
sure you don't say any of those banned words.
I mean, just don't type at all.
Don't talk
Don't
to
join
anyone in
random
general.
people.
Yeah.
I just like, yeah, I've just been playing with like friends and stuff. There's not an overly abundant amount of stuff to do in co-op, so I hope that changes. Um, but there is some stuff there too that like over time I can see getting like way better. Like there's a challenge tower that like boosts your skills, and it's like it's hard, but it's like yeah, the point is like for this floor, like electric attacks have like a 200% bonus. And like when you dash, you leave behind explosives. So there's shit like that where it just has these fun augments to it. So hopefully they go further with that too. But yeah, fun game.
Okay. Again, call out.
Yeah, my call out. I was debating on which to do. I'm gonna call out. You know what? Fuck it. I'll call out gamers in general, and I'll make it briefer. Yeah, I'm calling out gamers. Um. Yeah. So fucking me, Sin, Near, were in chat earlier, and we're like, someone posted to Twitter like a comparison between the Great Sword animation and like the dash animation or like the dash shit in Genshin to Near Automata, and they're like, there's so many people that are like, these animations are they fucking copied it. It's identical, and it's like you look at it and it's literally not. Like it's a similar, like it's an overhead like swing with a great sword, but you can tell like the character's movements and body is like completely different. Like their legs are in different poses, their weight is being thrown differently. It's like maybe inspired at best, but it's like far from fucking copying. Like it's not copied.
No, they
Um,
copied everything, dude.
yeah, it's like they copied it. It's like there aren't, and what I was bringing up too is like gamers when they like fucking think they know anything about how like a game is made, yet they've never done something like that in their entire lives or like any sort of art thing in their entire fucking life is infuriating. It's like the same type of people who like try and talk about like modeling or like animation or anything like that, and they're because you can tell sometimes too where they don't understand the idea that references exist and people use them. Like when people make something that's like so accurate and shit like that, you're like, yeah, dude, they didn't do that blind. Like that's not what's happening here. Like they're using references because it'd be fucked if they weren't. Um so there's that aspect. And also gamers like, you know, we had a delay in the World of Warcraft expansion, and people were complaining about it because they were like, it was supposed to come out October 27th, and I took off from work for this. And it's like, well, get fucked. Like, if your job is so shitty that like your fucking boss can't like understand, like, oh well, the thing I wanted to take my paid time off for got fucking pushed back anyway, so like I'm just gonna not take my vacation these weeks anymore. Like, dude, if you're working a job that doesn't let you do that,
Yeah,
like,
what? How would you not be able to
get
reschedule
fucked. Like, I mean,
almost a month?
there are some bosses that'll be like, no, dude, like we filled your schedule, right? Like, but that's usually like something that you should still be able to work out. Like, I don't know of a job where like a boss is gonna be like, no, you have to take that paid time off now. It's like, what? Like, what are you talking? Like, why? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I just think that that's stupid. Like, I mean, I think taking time off, like that much time off, first of all, for the launch of an MMO, it might be fucked anyway, is already dumb as hell. Like, granted, the last two expansions for WoW have been pretty smooth launches, like server-wise. Like, that's still always up in the air. So I don't know why you would take a full fucking week off, especially that first day. But yeah, like people complaining about that when it's like, dude, this expansion was gonna be fucked if they didn't. Like, there were classes that were doing literally sub 50% of the damage that the top like classes were doing with like the combinations of like spells you had to lock yourself into with the mechanics this expansion. Like basically this expansion, you choose between four different factions. You get a bunch of different like lore shit and cosmetic shit, but you also get one unique spell for your class. And yeah, if you chose the right combination, you would be doing 50% more damage than like the lowest combination of class and like faction, which is not okay in any way, shape, or form. And gamers think that like, oh, if I'm a casual player, that doesn't matter. It's like, it does, because if I'm doing I could be doing the easiest content in the world. If I see that you're the worst two combinations, you will never be in my group. I don't care if it was an instant win. I'm not taking you. Because that's not what people form groups for. They don't form groups out of the kindness of their hearts to pug something for you. So, I just hope people wisen the fuck up. And it's like, it's not a big deal. Actually research the shit you're talking about too. That would be nice. And just
Just
don't
play a
lie to
different
yourself and
class,
other people. Well, I mean, like, it's like just don't lie to yourself and like don't lie to other people. Like, don't say like these things don't matter and like when you know they do. Like, this shit matters and you're just pissy because you fucking want to like stick it to them for some reason because you got like denied a group. It's like I don't know what to tell these people. Like it's
Thing
so
is,
obvious that you can see that they even know themselves that they're wrong.
people need to realize that you're playing an MMO, playing with other people. It's not just your time you're wasting; it's other people's time.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too that it always gets into. It's like even from the standpoint of like there are a lot of people that are like, well, I'll just play like in a guild or like I'm playing with other people and it's like, well, I'm trying to do my best and it's like I just think that everyone should like be nice to each other and like not take it so seriously and it's like, oh, maybe a guild will give you that leeway. And it's like if the game released with the 50% shit, if anyone in my guild was rolling those classes, I would be pissed at them. And it's more so me being pissed at them, not because they rolled those classes because maybe they like them and they wanted to play as them, but more so that they themselves don't feel the like social obligation to be doing anywhere near their best. Like it's not even it's not so much like I'm pissed at them because like, oh, they're not fucking doing what I wanted them to, or like they're underperforming. It's like they don't want to perform in this group, and it's like that to me is just fucked up to begin with. It's like you're doing these things that are essentially like diminishing the value, like time of other people. So
Right.
yeah, gamers dumb. Uh, you know.
Don't worry, Doc. I too play a bottom 50 class in my MMO, but at least my gear's up to par and I don't slack around. So
I
I
mean,
get
you
taken
say
into
bottom.
raids.
No, Toast. I don't mean bottom 50 as in like they're in like the lower half. I mean the top classes were parsing at 1.2 like million damage, and the bottom class was parsing at 470,000 damage.
Ooh,
I
that's
don't
really
mean
bad.
I don't care about if you play a lower end class if the spread isn't bad. I'm saying they were doing 2 times the damage of the lower end
Nice,
classes,
nice.
which is not okay in any way, shape, or form. So,
All right. So again, a lot of I want to say turbulence going on in the Genshin Impact community, but anyways, thank you, Dark, for giving us the shout outs and call outs. So, Nier, what about you?
I'm gonna shout out Shadowverse. Very original. Um,
Something that you haven't done before, obviously. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The new expansion came out. Um, Storm Over Reveal, I think it's called. And with it, they really pushed aggro for a lot of classes.
Mhm.
They pushed out a lot of like really good one cost followers. Um, 2 cost followers. The new like I guess gimmicky stuff in the expansion is like a lot of cards will they'll summon these amulets that like the amulets will buff like the next card you play, and then the amulet will like banish itself.
No, okay.
So like one of them is like it'll summon an amulet that's like a motorcycle or whatever, and then whenever you play a card, the motorcycle will buff them and like give them rush or something.
Mm.
And then the amulet will disappear. So it's pretty cool when like you put out a shitload of these amulets, and then like you play a storm follower buffed like super hard.
Isn't that like Haven, sort of how Haven Amulet worked?
Sort of, but there's no countdown. You know, uh, it's just like it's
Oh,
like a
interesting.
static amulet, right?
Okay,
And
okay.
the only time it like interacts with anything is when like a follower comes into play.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Um,
All right.
but yeah, the like super hard push for aggro has actually like made um aggro shadow, which is an archetype that has been missing since like Darkness evolved.
Right.
Is finally back, which is really fun, really cool. It's a deck that I liked playing a lot when it was in. Um, and there's not really any decks right now that people have figured out anyway that are like super uninteractive and can't do shit except for like this one like OTK portal.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, OTK stuff's always gonna exist in Shadowverse, so what are you gonna
All
do?
right.
But yeah, it's a pretty fun expansion. Uh,
Yeah.
my biggest gripe is that like Forest Craft got nothing. They got shafted super hard. So like Forest Craft is in a state right now where it's almost unplayable. A lot of people are expecting buffs. So
Mhm.
um, for my call out, I'm probably gonna do. I'm probably gonna call out that fucking shit show that was the presidential debates. Um,
We're doing a second round of politics callouts here on.
yeah.
All right.
Here, why are you watching our political debates?
Gee,
This
maybe
doesn't
because
affect you.
maybe because the United States politics affects literally the entire globe.
All right, let's make this succinct.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into it.
Mhm.
Debate was a shit show. It was a fucking clown fiesta.
Very unfortunate, yes.
Fuck the United States. That's about it.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a lot of fuck myself too these days. Fuck, this is our country. But anyways, thank you, Nier, for the shout and call out. Toast, what about you?
What do I got to shout out? I don't know. I guess I'll shout out.
I know what your call out is gonna be. I just don't know your shout out.
Guess I'll shout out Jollibee.
That's a good
Because
shout out. Yeah, that's fine.
Because- that you know that person brought me Jollibee, and I'm like, that's cool.
Okay.
I guess
That's a marriage proposal, is what that is.
it's no famous bowl, but it's Jollibee, and it's like, damn, you got me there. How'd you know I wanted an Aloha burger and the spaghetti?
Okay.
Okay.
And your call out is?
Oh boy, you want to hear about my call out?
I know what your call out is, but I
My
don't
call out.
I don't want to hear too much of it, okay? You know what
So
I'm talking
speaking of politics, all right. So for those who don't know, all anime and good things are banned until the 19th. Currently, what is it? October 3, almost October 4. So I gotta wait about 15 more days.
Do you want me to explain this toast?
No, you don't.
All right,
No,
please.
never. No,
Hours.
you can't say it, Spire. They're watching all the time.
Okay, yeah.
They're gonna get you.
Didn't I already mention it earlier this podcast?
No, you didn't. You did not. You're fine. But if you mention it, once you go there, you'll get arrested.
It's actually is the funny thing is, so at my the first college that I attended, so in America at least, there's a bunch of like different sort of like this American, that American like associations, right? So it'll be like, I don't know, like there'll even be like some like there I think there was like a Lebanese American association. It was like there's these all these like different like land like associations, like cultural associations, right? And so there was like an Asian American association. I think there was like a CSA, like a Chinese or sorry, or Asian American like student association or something like that. And then there was like a Chinese Student Association, and then there was actually a TSA, a Taiwanese Student Association, which was actually bigger than any of the other Asian student associations for some weird reason. It was like you think that like the Asian Student Association would be like the biggest, right? For obvious reasons. But apparently, it was, at my college, it was Taiwanese Student Association. I'm not entirely sure why that was. But anyways, Toast, go
So
on.
yeah, until the 19th, nothing will ever be good anymore, and
Yeah.
it's all your fault.
I apologize.
And that's why you'll never get anything good once the 19th ends. And they'll be like, "Damn, what did we do?" And I'll be like, "I don't care. I'm just gonna watch cool things over here in this part of the world where, yeah, different rules. But
Where we
whatever.
don't need to run a VPN to then bitch and complain about what people do on that platform.
Like
And
hey man, you got your rules and I got mine, but don't intrude to our space.
Mhm. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Toast.
Wait till the 19th.
Thank you, Toast, for your shout and call out. I guess my shout out and call out. My call out is to who should I do it? Well, I guess man, I have too many call outs that I want to do. But I guess my call out is to just like I guess myself for just not being able to like deal with adaptive scheduling and stuff like that. And, like again, I tend to fall apart when people are trying to push stuff on me and it takes like 2 to 4 hours randomly here or whatever, and then I like miss something else I want to do for today, and then everything gets shifted. I'm pretty bad at keeping schedules that way. Fuck me, I guess.
Spire, is
Yep.
someone bullying you to translate their Niji Sanji videos?
No, although I do want to say that I feel bad whenever people are like, "Are you going to translate more of X video or like more of these types of videos or whatever?"
X
Because
videos.
like, what?
You
X
just said
like
X
X?
videos. You can't do that,
Yeah,
Spire.
I also can't do X videos, by the way. That's not a thing I can do. Um, but
Yes, Spire.
I
When are you gonna translate
yeah,
more?
yeah, like more
Yeah, Choco Sensei. She's cool.
I've
But why
translated
don't
a lot
yes,
of it.
Spire, why don't you translate the Botan versus Choco Sensei clip? I heard he did pretty well.
Yeah. But I feel bad whenever people like comment on that or people comment on like, are you gonna make more of these? Because I do want to do it when I have the time, but again, it's not. There's always like 50 different clips coming out, and it's like, oh my god, there's so much backlog. And again, I do have my own surreal life schedule, so I do feel bad for that. So fuck me for
Spire,
my schedule. Yeah.
you know what you must do, right?
You must
What?
become Hollow Live Moment.
I just gotta hire a team. I gotta start, asking for donations on PayPal to
Yeah,
clips,
Neo Hollow Live Moment.
they dissolved,
Let's
by the
go.
way.
and then
Yeah, it's gone.
Of course they did.
fucking
Yeah, what the fuck else were they gonna do?
there's that one fucking
They fucking
what
deleted like everything, and then they made absolute fucking fools of themselves, and everyone told them fuck off.
that one fucking video somebody posted that was the clip somebody posted that was like it was like a bunch of like Discord messages that was like I really think hard about the titles and my thumbnails. Like I don't want to do clickbait. And then like after that they showed like all the examples of like the summer putting up like clickbait titles that are like Matsuri in the bad is plus blah 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 like is sex or whatever it is. It's like guys, come on man.
Yes,
Like
sex.
yeah, exactly.
If
So
you click
I
this video, you'll have sex with your favorite
yeah,
YouTuber now.
yeah, I know. Like all these clickbait like titles. But anyways,
But yes, Spire, you know what you gotta do? You gotta translate the English VTubers,
into English, yes, I know.
Japanese and
Um,
Korean. You gotta
I
play
got
both markets right there.
yeah,
You'll get so many
I
views.
thought about doing the Japanese thing, but then I'm like, I don't have time for this shit, man. But
You're gonna let some other Japanese subbers Japanese subbers translate English back into Japanese.
I honestly like the more I like translate like Hololive stuff, like I just feel like I want to do less and less Hololive stuff because it's like I just feel like I'm always constantly like fighting this like time bomb where I'm like fighting 50 other shitty suburbs who's like all chomping at the bits whenever fucking whoever releases a new like stream, they're like, oh man, I gotta fucking speed sub this and fucking get it out. It's like I don't want to complete that
You
shit.
mean like
So
this, Spire? Here
no,
you
I
go.
know.
Here's the
I,
new picture for you.
yeah,
Karane is streaming a sing.
I know.
It's good.
Yeah, like I seriously, I'm like getting more and more tired of like trying to fight that sort of like rat race. So I'm like, whatever. It's like if I find shit that nobody has translated for, I'll translate. But beyond that, I'm like, whatever. But anyways, actual shout out for me is I want to shout out um what is it? Some of the fudge that I made actually, which came out pretty well, better than I thought it would. And
How much sugar did you use, and how much milk?
I actually don't. It's my recipe has evaporated milk in it.
Oh,
Um,
not wait, evaporate, not condensed.
no,
Not
because the
condensed.
condensed milk has the sugar in it. I'm already controlling for the sugar by having the actual sugar in it. So I'm using evaporated milk there, and
It
then
is evaporated milk anyway.
it's just dried out milk, or it's like milk with less water. condensed milk has the actual like sweeteners in it. But yeah, it's like it's mainly sugar. It's like mainly sugar and a little and some corn syrup, and then the rest is just like water, a little bit of chocolate butter, stuff like that. But it came out pretty well. A lot of mixing involved, a lot of whisking involved, but I got it down to a pretty good texture, and it tastes pretty good. So that's my shout out for that. And yeah, so that'll be it for this podcast. Thank you all for joining us again. This, the first podcast that we have in a season is always going to be kind of a little bit spotty in terms of the series that we cover, because they're all episode ones, and the ones that we want to cover are the ones that we're going to push till the end, right? We're not going to review, the day I became a god, right? Episode 1, and be like, yeah, we know all about the series. You should watch it. We're not going to.
It's freaking epic.
Yeah, we're not going to be like that. So you're going to have to wait for that in the later episodes. Obviously, in episodes 2, 3, we're going to be covering some more stuff like some other names. Maybe what is it, Jujutsu Kaisen or whatever it was called. Moriarty the Patriot. Maybe Hypnosis Mike, stuff like that. Starting to get into the momentum of it. Again, I assure you, there are plenty of series that we're going to have to cover, and we might even have to cover some of them like. From what I'm thinking of, we might even have to cover some of them like after this season ends, just because like we actually might have to, depending
Yeah, I
on
mean
how things.
there's a good bit as well.
So, anyways, thank you everybody for listening in. It's going to be a busy couple of podcasts for the upcoming season. And if you do like what we do, we record this podcast every other Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with a numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, light novels, web novels, visual novels, manga, games, and so much more. So check us out here. We also have the VODs of our latest podcasts here for your viewing pleasure. We have it on YouTube as well, 4PlayerAnimecast, so you can check it out there, whichever format that you prefer. Check us out on social media as well for updates and when we're streaming, so on and so forth. On both Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, and on Twitter, handle at 4PPAnimecast, again, all with a numeral 4. And yeah, we'll see you next time.